Designer earrings are one of the most popular things in fashion right now, and today I'm going to show you how to make geometric beaded designer earrings. Geometric beaded earrings are really fun to make. I was inspired to make them by just bending wire, playing with forms, and wrapping beads that I had on there. I love that you can dress up this design with beads or without beads, because sometimes all you need is a simple shape out of wire to make something look great. Let's go over the tools and supplies we're gonna need for these earrings. We're gonna need 16 gauge wire for the base, 24 gauge wire to wrap the beads on with. These are 4mm turquoise rounds, a pair of ear wires, a chasing hammer and a bench block, a flush cutter, a chain nose plier, a bell shaping plier, flat nose plier, and a nylon jaw plier. All right, so let's get started. Grab your 16 gauge wire and your flush cutter and your flat nose plier and decide what shape you're gonna do. I'm gonna do the same shape that you can see over here, kind of like a stair-step square design. And I'm going to cut about a foot of wire. And if you're making earrings, you're gonna wanna go ahead, just cut 2 pieces, 2 feet of wire. With something like this, it's nice to do both earrings kind of at the same time, just so that you know you're gonna have equal earrings. So I'm just gonna straighten them out with my nylon plier. I'm gonna cut this little bad piece off just to start with a smooth end. With my flat nose plier, I'm going to start making some bends. And I always like to choose a point on my tool to measure with. So my tool is actually acting as my ruler or my bending plier, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to lay one of the finished earrings down here beside me so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, how all of these links are pretty similar. So I'm gonna start just up here and work my way down, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is my loops. And I've never actually done 2 pieces of wire together, but I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna actually be a really good idea. So I'm just gonna do a 90-degree bend somewhere near the end of my wire, like that. And I'm gonna step down a little bit. Somewhere about, I'm gonna use my halfway mark in between the tip of this plier and where it turns into the flat part as my measurement. Measure here. Bend here. And once again, boom. Bend. And then the same thing, actually wanting to kind of maybe drop one of these wires now. Now that I've got it started, I think it was nice to start with them together, but I'm going to now just do one piece. All right, I'm just gonna trim it off here a bit longer than what I know I need. And this is a good point while you're at it to just go ahead and do that other earring. All right, so now we have started our bends, and I'm just gonna work on one earring now. I'm gonna put this one to the side. I just wanted to show you how it's nice to go ahead and do them together if you can. I always love to sharpen up my corners before I hammer with my flat nose plier by just redefining them a little bit. Just kind of squeeze them. Make sure they're sharp, if that's what you want. Sometimes you don't want really sharp corners, but I do for this design. And then we're going to make our loops on each end. All right, so you want your loops on the top and bottom to be in the center of your earring. So you want it to end up right here, which sometimes can be kind of tricky, but I found that if I just cut it a little bit beyond the line, this line here, just cut it here, generally I can make it work. So just a little bit beyond, a little beyond. I like to use my bail shaping plier to roll back these tails and get a perfect loop. You can use a round nose plier if you want to. And just grab the wire in the jaw. Just roll it back like that. Same with the other one. All right, so you've done your little loops. If you need to, always go back in and resharpen any curves that may have happened. I'm always constantly readjusting my wire designs, so just know that that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make the loops on the other one. All right, now we are ready to hammer out our design, which not only work hardens your piece, but will flatten it out so that the wire can grip onto the edges. So grab your bench block and your chasing hammer and just start hammering. And I like to hammer my loops up here. A lot of people don't like to do that, but I tend to just hammer the whole piece kind of evenly, starting with the corners and then working my way through the straight parts. And then I do lightly tap the loops. Remember, you can always shape it back up. If it causes to come unbent while you're hammering, just work it Work it, make it look how you want it. If your little loop comes undone, make sure you roll that back closed. And once again, you can go back in with your flat nose if you need to and just kind of walk it around the piece to make sure everything is nice and neat. Okay, and then now you can go ahead and do that on the other earring, and we're gonna wrap some beads onto this piece. All right, so cut your strand open, and once again, I'm gonna use the 24 gauge wire. Go this way. So each of these rows is a separate piece of wire, so for each earring, you'll need 4 little pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna start at this corner here and go up diagonally. So just leave a little bit of a tail in your hand and wrap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And actually I'm gonna pull it back behind there, so that I'm wrapping, the wrap kind of starts from behind like that. Okay. Basically, you just do 3 coils and then point your wire up that direction and then slide on your beads. Okay, I'm gonna do 4, and then once you've done that, flip it over and do 3 more wraps. To me, it doesn't really matter where you start wrapping as long as you end both of these on the same side in the back and trim them off in the back so that that doesn't show. And then with your chain nose plier, just kind of press those down so they don't stick out. Okay, so now we have 1 row done, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap the other 3 the same exact way. So for the next one, we're gonna start at this corner, go to that corner. And this corner can be a little tricky because you have to go in and out of that little space right there, but you can do it, I know you can. So just remember, start here and go that way. All right, I'm just gonna keep going with that and wrap 2 more rows. Okay. All right, so now all you have to do to finish your earring is put on your ear wire. And the design tip I will give you is that it looks really neat when these earrings are asymmetrical. So let me just lay these here and kind of show you that when you wear them, they're going the opposite way. And all that really means is that when you wrap the beads onto your second earring, that you flip it over first and make sure those ends are on the opposite side. That's up to you though. If you want them to go the same way, that's your call, but it's just a fun way to kind of switch it up. So I'm gonna add my ear wire to this one. Just open it up with my flat nose plier, slide on my piece, and then close it up. Here are the simple pair of earrings that I made. They're so light, so fun, and I love that you can make them whatever length works for you. Let's go over the tools and supplies one more time that we used for this project. We used 16 gauge wire and 24 gauge wire, some gemstone beads. These were 4mm turquoise beads. You need a bench block and a chasing hammer. A nylon jaw plier is always good when you're working with wire. A bail shaping plier. A chain nose plier. A flush cutter. And a flat nose plier, and also a pair of ear wires. If you'd like to pick up any of the tools or supplies we used in this video, check out the links below. What geometric designs would you do in your jewelry or like to see us make in our jewelry? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell.